The Shining is a psychological horror film directed by Stanley Kubrick, based on Stephen King's novel of the same name. Released in 1980, the film follows Jack Torrance, an aspiring writer and recovering alcoholic who takes a job as the winter caretaker of the isolated Overlook Hotel in Colorado. He moves there with his wife, Wendy, and their young son, Danny, who possesses psychic abilities known as the Shining. As winter sets in and the hotel becomes snowbound, Jack's mental state deteriorates due to the influence of the hotel's supernatural forces. He becomes increasingly unstable and violent, driven to madness by the ghosts and malevolent spirits that haunt the hotel. Meanwhile, Danny's psychic abilities allow him to perceive the hotel's dark past and the dangers it poses. The tension escalates as Jack's behavior becomes more erratic, culminating in a terrifying confrontation with his family. The film explores themes of isolation, madness, and the impact of addiction, all set against the backdrop of the eerie and labyrinthine hotel. The Shining is renowned for its unsettling atmosphere, iconic imagery, and Jack Nicholson's memorable performance as Jack Torrance. It has become a classic in the horror genre and is often analyzed for its deeper psychological and thematic elements. The film is set in the Overlook Hotel, a grand but isolated resort located in the Colorado Rockies. The hotel is closed during the winter months, making it the perfect setting for Jack Torrance to work as the winter caretaker. Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson, is an aspiring writer and recovering alcoholic who takes the job at the Overlook Hotel. His struggle with addiction and his desire for success lead him down a dark path. Wendy Torrance, played by Shelley Duvall, is Jack's wife, who is supportive but increasingly fearful of Jack's deteriorating mental state. Danny Torrance, played by Danny Lloyd, is the couple's young son, who possesses psychic abilities that allow him to see the hotel's horrific past and communicate with its supernatural inhabitants. He has an imaginary friend named Tony, who often warns him of danger. Jack, Wendy, and Danny arrive at the Overlook Hotel, where Jack is excited about the opportunity to write in peace. However, the hotel has a dark history, including incidents of violence and murder. Danny begins to experience disturbing visions and encounters with the hotel's ghosts, including the ghostly twins and the former caretaker, Grady. He learns about the hotel's violent past and the dangers it poses. As the winter progresses, Jack becomes increasingly influenced by the hotel's supernatural forces. He discovers a hidden room filled with disturbing imagery and begins to lose his grip on reality. His writing stagnates, and he becomes frustrated and angry. Wendy becomes alarmed by Jack's erratic behavior and the changes in their son. She tries to protect Danny from Jack's growing aggression. Jack's mental breakdown culminates in a violent confrontation with Wendy and Danny. He becomes obsessed with the idea of correcting his family and is driven to madness by the hotel's influence. The famous line, "Here's Johnny," is delivered during a tense scene where Jack tries to break into the bathroom where Wendy and Danny are hiding. In a desperate attempt to escape, Wendy and Danny confront Jack, who has fully succumbed to the hotel's malevolent forces. The film reaches its climax as Danny uses his psychic abilities to outsmart Jack, leading to a terrifying chase through the hotel's maze-like exterior. The film ends ambiguously, with Jack freezing to death in the hedge maze. The final scene reveals a photograph from 1921 showing Jack at a party in the hotel, suggesting that he has become part of the hotel's dark history. The film explores how isolation can lead to psychological breakdown. Jack's descent into madness is exacerbated by the hotel's remoteness and the supernatural forces at play. Jack's struggle with alcoholism is a central theme, highlighting how addiction can destroy relationships and lead to violence. The film examines the fragility of family bonds under stress. Wendy and Danny's relationship is tested as they confront Jack's transformation. The Shining blurs the lines between supernatural horror and psychological thriller, leaving viewers questioning the nature of Jack's madness and the reality of the hotel's ghosts. Kubrick's use of wide-angle shots, symmetrical compositions, and long tracking shots creates an unsettling atmosphere. The iconic use of the color red and the haunting score contribute to the film's tension. The maze serves as a powerful symbol of Jack's mental state and the entrapment of the family. The hotel itself is a character, representing the dark history and the psychological turmoil of its inhabitants. Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Jack Torrance is widely regarded as one of the greatest performances in horror cinema. His transformation from a loving father to a violent maniac is both chilling and compelling. The Shining has become a cultural touchstone, influencing countless films, television shows, and works of literature. Its iconic imagery, memorable quotes, and psychological depth have led to extensive analysis and interpretation. The film is often cited as one of the greatest horror films of all time and continues to resonate with audiences today. Overall, The Shining is a complex exploration of fear, madness, and the supernatural, making it a timeless classic in the horror genre. The film is based on Stephen King's 1977 novel of the same name. King's story delves deeply into the psychological aspects of Jack Torrance's character and the supernatural elements of the Overlook Hotel. While Kubrick's adaptation retains the core premise, it diverges significantly in tone and character development. Kubrick, known for his meticulous filmmaking style, sought to create a horror film that transcended traditional genre boundaries. He emphasized visual storytelling and psychological horror over explicit scares. Jack Nicholson's casting was pivotal. Nicholson's intense persona and ability to convey madness made him the perfect choice for Jack Torrance. His performance is often cited as one of the most iconic in horror cinema. Shelley Duvall's portrayal of Wendy Torrance is marked by vulnerability and strength. Her character's evolution from a supportive wife to a protective mother is central to the film's emotional core. Danny Lloyd delivers a haunting performance, capturing the innocence and fear of a child caught in a terrifying situation. Jack Torrance is driven by ambition and desperation. His desire to be a successful writer drives him to take the job at the Overlook Hotel. His ambition is intertwined with his struggle against alcoholism, which he believes he has overcome. As the film progresses, Jack's character transforms from a hopeful father to a violent figure consumed by rage and madness. The hotel amplifies his inner demons, leading to his eventual breakdown. Jack embodies the archetype of the troubled man whose failures lead to violence. His inability to cope with his shortcomings and his subsequent aggression reflect broader themes of toxic masculinity. Wendy Torrance shows great strength and resilience. She is portrayed as a loving mother who becomes increasingly aware of Jack's instability. Her character evolves from a passive figure to a fierce protector of Danny. Her resourcefulness and determination are highlighted during the climax, where she fights to save her son from Jack's wrath. Her character challenges traditional gender roles in horror films. Danny Torrance represents innocence and vulnerability. His psychic abilities allow him to perceive the dangers of the hotel, making him a crucial figure in the narrative. Danny's relationship with the hotel and his imaginary friend, Tony, serves as a conduit for the film's supernatural elements. His visions foreshadow the impending horror and highlight the theme of childhood trauma. The Overlook Hotel serves as a metaphor for isolation, both physical and psychological. The snowbound setting cuts the Torrance family off from the outside world, intensifying their struggles and amplifying Jack's descent into madness. The theme of isolation is further explored through the hotel's history, which is filled with violence and tragedy, suggesting that the past continues to haunt the present. The film blurs the lines between psychological horror and supernatural elements. Jack's madness is exacerbated by the hotel's ghosts, leading viewers to question whether his actions are a result of his own psyche or the influence of the supernatural. The supernatural elements, such as the ghostly twins and the mysterious Room 237, serve to heighten the tension and create an atmosphere of dread. The film explores the fragility of family relationships under stress. Jack's transformation into a violent figure creates a rift between him and Wendy, forcing her to confront the reality of their situation. Wendy and Danny's bond is tested as they navigate the dangers posed by Jack. Their struggle for survival highlights the theme of maternal instinct and the lengths a mother will go to protect her child. The Overlook Hotel is portrayed as a character in its own right, embodying the concept of evil. Its history of violence and tragedy suggests that the hotel itself is a malevolent force that preys on the weaknesses of its inhabitants. The film raises questions about the nature of evil, Is it inherent in individuals or is it influenced by external forces? Jack's transformation suggests that the hotel amplifies his latent darkness. Kubrick's use of wide-angle lenses and symmetrical compositions creates a sense of unease. The iconic tracking shots, particularly the one following Danny on his tricycle, contribute to the film's unsettling atmosphere. The use of color, especially red, symbolizes danger and violence. The stark contrast between the hotel's opulence and its dark history enhances the film's tension. The film's score, composed by Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind, features dissonant sounds and unsettling music that heighten the sense of dread. The use of silence and ambient noise also plays a crucial role in building tension. The hedge maze serves as a powerful symbol of Jack's mental state and the entrapment of the family. It represents the labyrinthine nature of his madness and the struggle for survival. The recurring motif of mirrors and reflections suggests duality and the fractured identities of the characters, particularly Jack. The Shining received mixed reviews, with some critics praising its visual style and performances, while others criticized its departure from King's novel. Over time, however, it has been re-evaluated and is now considered a masterpiece of horror cinema. The film has influenced countless filmmakers and has become a reference point for psychological horror. Its themes of isolation, madness, and the supernatural continue to resonate in contemporary horror films. The film's imagery, such as the twins, the blood in the elevator, and Jack's face in the door, has become iconic in popular culture. Phrases like, "Here's Johnny," have entered the lexicon of horror references. The Shining has inspired various adaptations, parodies, and homages in film, television, and literature. Its impact can be seen in works that explore similar themes of psychological horror and family dynamics. The Shining is a complex and multifaceted film that transcends traditional horror. Its exploration of psychological themes, character dynamics, and the nature of evil, combined with Kubrick's masterful direction and visual storytelling, has solidified its place as a classic in cinema history. The Shining continues to provoke thought and discussion, making it a timeless piece of art that resonates with audiences across generations.